Pinewood on Friday, May 23rd at 6 p.m. at the corner of Alicia and Pinewood. Our annual Memorial Day ceremony will be here outside or inside if it's raining on Monday, May 26th at 11 a.m. Also, this Monday will be a Taste of Teaneck sponsored by the Chamber at the Glen Point Hotel. Council met in closed session to discuss the following: potential sale of township property, personnel, contracts, noise, cannabis, legal issues or opinions regarding any items on the open session agenda, litigation updates, and Oprah. And I'd like to have a moment of silence for Wendy Kelly, a Teaneck resident and a Shade Tree Advisory Board who left us last week. Thank you, and we thank her for her service to the town. Okay, with that, Mr. Clerk, I think we are ready to begin. And we're going to start with presentations. And first will be a certificate of recognition for a neighborhood compost. Councilwoman Goldberg, do you want to step down and discuss, I believe, both of them, actually, the cleanup and, if you don't mind? Thank you.
So, sorry, Hildy, do you want to come up also? Sorry, having issues. So we're presenting some, I'm gonna hold this for Joseph, some certificates to the Environmental Commission for the neighborhood compost program that just came out. If everyone saw, they got 100 families, and I'll explain it in a second. And also for the incredible cleanup day events. How many have we had now? Last
4.
Yeah,
This is our 4th.
it's amazing. So I'm gonna first present this to you as chair for bringing composting to Teaneck. So I'm just gonna say a really quick thing. So as the council liaison, I want to recognize the commission for the successful launch of Teaneck's first municipal compost pilot program. This really reflects years, and I remember watching meetings of behind the scenes work led by Joseph and Hildy, and they've really brought this amazing unmatched energy to this project, coordinating with the departments and the residents and really keeping the momentum going. And it could have stalled, but Joseph really brings the technical knowledge and the deep environmental expertise, and Hildy brings the passion and the energy, and together they built something operational that helps everybody, and it wasn't just an aspirational project. So thanks to their leadership, more than 100 residents are now participating. Everyone's gotten starter kits, which have the buckets and the liners, instructions, and everyone has access to the secure drop site at the Rhoda Center overflow lot. And also the Environmental Commission ensured that there was clear communications with Neighborhood Compost and the DPW. And this is really about being community-led, evidence-based, scalable for Teaneck, and we're really proud to support this work, and we're grateful to the EC for making Teaneck a leader in municipal sustainability. So thank you. I don't know if you want to say anything about that before tonight for the EC. And then this is for the cleanup day. So April 27th was the 4th cleanup day, and people love it, actually. Like if you look at the comments and the feedback, people really, they love it. And it brings residents together, the township staff, volunteers, with a shared commitment to taking care of the town that we all call home. So this wasn't symbolic, it was real and on the ground effort. We removed litter, public spaces. We were able to make some recommendations and really show that, town pride and civic pride is something that we can practice. And the collaboration, again, Hildy with the DPW is seamless, and it really just reflects how many people in Teaneck care about their neighborhood and really want to do the work. And we talk about policy, but days like the cleanup day and the compost, that's action. And once again, thank you for your environmental leadership. So this is also for that. And I don't know if you're going to see them. This is for Joseph. This is for neighborhood compost. So I don't know if you want me to should we mail it to them or?
Yeah,
Okay.
what's that?
I could get to them.
Can you mail it
Yeah.
Joseph too?
Yeah, I'll get you.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you want to say anything?
Thank you, Councilwoman. Do you want to say a
I
few words?
just want to say a few words. First of all, thank you to Hillary because she is our council liaison. We have really a terrific group of people on the Environmental Commission, and I want to just tell you that we're all volunteers. Everybody brings their own expertise and passion about making Teaneck a green community. And we couldn't do that without the support of the council and especially Jacqueline Jacqueline Hashmet as our town manager. She oversees the operations of the EC, and Hillary is our liaison to the council. So the cleanup and the compost pilot program are just some of the things that this great group of people are doing. So it really is their collective minds that are making these things happen in Teaneck. So I want to thank them. And I want to mention them because these are your neighbors. Joseph Gillers, who is our vice chair, Peter Goldman, Judy Green, Tamara Browning, Rosalind Turner, David Spielman, Yehuda Cohn, who also serves as our planning board representative, and Michael Klatsky. Those are your volunteers on the Teaneck Environmental Commission, but mostly for both the compost program and for the town cleanup. I want to thank the residents of Teaneck because they are really the volunteers that are making this happen. We had over 100 people sign up for the cleanup this time for this spring, and the first one that we did with the DPW, which I think goes back to spring of 2020 or fall of 2023. It was raining. We had about 30 people sign up. We had about 20 people come. And now it has grown. The momentum has grown because neighbors are talking to neighbors about how much fun they have with their kids and what a great need we have in Teaneck to keep our roadways and our open spaces clean and cleared of litter. So I want to thank all the residents of Teaneck, and our pioneers for composting are fantastic. We had our first pickup today, and Jacqueline, I don't know if it's good or bad news, but they picked up 3 out of the 3 totes that were there at compost. So we think that's a lot of enthusiasm for the first week of getting started, and we'll see how it goes moving forward. We will be collecting data on the amount by weight of organic waste that we are collecting, and how much compost it will be transitioned to, and also how much we're actually collecting based on the number of people in the program, and that will help Jacqueline and the council to decide when they can roll it out to the entire town. So I'm sure it will be a success because of the residents of Teaneck, because they're fabulous. So, and I thank you so much for this recognition, but really it's the residents that have participated that deserve our appreciation. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Mayor Brown?
First off, thank you for composting as well as cleanup. But I wanted to note that you guys are proving to be an inspiration because several of my friends who serve on governing bodies in 2 different towns are asking how we're doing it. And when they are ready to move forward, I'm going to put them in touch with you, Jacqueline, as well as Councilwoman Goldberg. So I'm sure you already know that, but other towns are watching and they're very impressed and they want to start doing it as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Mayor Katz?
I just wanted to say thank you very much for all your great work and thank you for mentioning all the others that volunteer as well. We really appreciate it. Thank you. We're very lucky to have in this town a lot of volunteers and a lot of talented people that want to give back to the community, and we count you as one of them.
I sat on the Environmental Commission back in the day, and you seem to have brought this energy to it and excitement, and I wasn't able to make this cleanup, but I do love the cleanup. And I hope I can make the next one. I was going to say maybe it was all the potato peels post Passover or Easter, but no, you didn't start until after. So I don't know what it was. But yeah, that's great. Fantastic. So thank you so much.
2 comments, one which I made at the event as it relates to compost, and we discussed how few towns in the country do composting. I think it was almost literally a handful, and the other ones were mainly multi-million person cities. So again, Teaneck leads the way thanks to you and your committee. As it relates to the garbage, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't thank you for the pizza. That was the highlight for me. It was the pizza afterwards. Also, I think there was one comment that someone made afterwards that I forwarded on about doing more events, or not necessarily more events, but ongoing cleanup with the baseball leagues and the soccer leagues, who primarily use the fields that we need, the parks that we need to clean up in. And I think a lot of them leave the mess behind, and I had that problem when I was a coach. So we'll work on that. Again, thank you very much, and we thank your family for lending you as well.
Mr. Mayor,
Okay.
can I ask the attorney a question that Hildy just made me think of on that?
Sure.
So part of this, in the discussions for the plans was the food compost, and I know you were working with the DPW for the weight. Do we need to update the code for us to accept food waste for the recycling tonnage grant? Because that was part of the reason. Like, our code doesn't have food waste, and I know other towns do, and I think the DPW was asking, and she just made me think of that.
You don't have to have that in the ordinance,
So we're
but
good.
you can if you want to.
If it doesn't, I just wanted to know.
No, you can.
So we
keep
can, we're good.
Increasing your programs or decreasing them as you see fit. It doesn't have to be in the ordinance.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I'm really sorry because I left out the DPW. We could not do either one of these programs without the DPW. The whole town really needs to appreciate all the work they do. But we worked hand in hand to make these things happen. So I thank them.
Absolutely. Okay. On that end,
Mr. Mayor,
I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't call you. I apologize.
yeah, I didn't know. I just wanted to chime in as well to say thank you to the Environmental Commission for all the hard work that they do. And with composting, I think it's a stellar job. It's certainly, we are a leader in the field in terms of municipalities that are actually doing this type of work. And I love how you're engaging young people who have a heart to toward environmental concerns. So kudos to all the work that you all are doing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, heading into work session items. Does anyone have anything on miscellaneous? Old business? New business? Communications? Committee reports by council liaisons? Yep.
Quickly, the library met last week and they are looking for a new ADA compliant website. There was a presentation and they are looking through a bunch of options, but they have one in particular that they're hoping to go with. They are looking to reopen in September if the municipal, if the budget is passed and they're able to order furniture, barring any problems with shipments and tariffs, and they can order furniture and get it in time. So we're looking at a September timeline. Hopefully, cross your fingers. The manager and I had a meeting today with Board of Ed President Ed Ha and Superintendent Dr. Spencer, and they asked us to remind the public that they are going through a strategic planning process for the schools that they hope to kick off in September, and they're looking for members of the public to participate. You don't need to have children in the school. You don't even need to have children or school-age children to participate. They're looking to have people, action steps would be taken through the month of May, and this would be completed in time for school to open in September. They're looking for people to join 5 different steering committees: personnel, finance, special education, academic achievement, and communications. They've hired a consulting company to help them with the process. And you can get more information by visiting their website, scanning a QR code if you're interested in signing up. They will, once their steering committees meet, they will open it up to feedback from the board, from the public, and bring that to the Board of Education. But they would like the whole community to be involved in this. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Anyone else for community, council liaisons? Okay.
I
Council
just have
listed-
one.
I'm sorry, yes.
That's
I
okay. That's all
apologize.
right. No, I just want to let the public know that the ADU community meeting has been confirmed for June 26th from 7 to 9 p.m.
And we'll send out more notification about that. That's to educate the public on the ADU ordinance and how they can apply for it, build on it, et cetera, et cetera. That'll all be an open community session. That
So,
meeting
and
will
I'm
also
sure
be-
that there'll be a flyer and it'll be on the website as well.
Correct. Council listed items, open space and recreation, OSRP recognitions. Councilwoman Goldberg.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I thought I'd asked for a certificate, so if we can get that after, but we saw the grant notice, and I just wanted to take the moment to recognize two individuals who are with their longstanding commitment to Teaneck's environment and governance that really helped deliver this town what it really desperately needed. So I would like to recognize Dr. Charles Powers and former Councilman Alan Sohn. So they weren't just advocates, they were educators. And if it weren't for the little newsletter we started together, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. But they really demonstrate what it means to stand firm even when it's unpopular. And for Teaneck's open space recreation plan, it sat in limbo. The version expired in 2017. It was completed in 19 with review, and it wasn't passed. And it finally got passed at the June 23rd planning board meeting. Thank you, Mayor Schwartz, for leading that. And it was said that there was concerns about restricting land over it. But honestly, because we didn't have an OSRP and a reconciled Rossi, we were locked out of Green Acres funding for over a decade. In 2023 alone, we were at risk of losing 1.9 million from PSC&G and $750,000 from grants from Herrick Park. So that's $2.65 million alone that literally Councilman Sohn and Dr. Powers saved, so it didn't slip away. They never stopped pushing. They worked with others. They worked with, former Chair Ken Hoffman, who's also a huge advocate for this, Jim Veach, and they stayed focused. They connected the dots. They brought the facts, and they showed up. And their advocacy is really what moved the OSRP from draft to approval. They understood that this wasn't about paperwork or restrictions. This was about parks like Herrick and Sagamore, Andreas, Brett, flooding,
Phelps.
equity, Phelps, and really preserving what never should have been left vulnerable. So thanks to their efforts, Teaneck is now once again eligible for the millions in state grants. And we just heard that we got another 1.5 million. So that brings the total that we have to thank Chuck and Alan for $4.1 million, thanks to their advocacy. I don't know how many tax point that is, but we're really beginning to reclaim our identity as a town that protects the land and values its green space and plans responsibly for the generations ahead. So Councilman Sohn, Dr. Powers, if you're on Zoom, I know you didn't do this for the credit. You did it for Teaneck's future and the trust, and every resident in every corner has you to thank for that money. And I look forward to seeing everyone at the ribbon cuttings.
Thank you very much. Bergen County review of Teaneck Road, and thank you for everyone who brought the grants to fruition. Bergen County review of Teaneck Road bottlenecks. Mayor Katz.
Yeah, a resident reached out to me about asking if we can have the county just take a look at some of the, as the weather gets better, take a look at some of the small spots on Teaneck Road that have bottlenecked areas, i.e. Forest and Teaneck Road. And they mentioned something about by Holy Name and by Fike, possibly Teaneck Road and Fike. So I'm just conveying that message. I don't know if this is something the county does regularly, if there's any recommendations. Maybe everything's great. Obviously, we did a streetscape just recently within the last 7 years. So they probably did do a review at that time. So that was just my conveying.
I'll jump in. Fike is actually has a red light. I believe you're not wrong. They're not wrong. Forest Avenue, because when you go north, it goes down from 2 lanes to 1 with the cars parked on the east side of the road. If we can maybe have the county take a look at it. Unfortunately, we may be stuck because there's no other place for those cars to park, but that creates the bottleneck. And then going south, I think there may be a green arrow situation, but I'm gonna. Mayor,
Yeah, I mean, so I work for the county planning and engineering department. And this is something that they do indeed do. As long as they get an email from the mayor or the manager, you can send it to the county executive. You can send it to Joe Femia and or Joe Bellotti or Nancy Dargis. But if you just send it to the county executive and Melissa Caminiti, his assistant, it'll trickle down and Tommy Dutch, and it'll get to the right people in planning and engineering.
Perfect. And on behalf of the merch committee, myself and you showed some county, large next time. Yeah. And the
Extra
extra
large.
large, got it, okay, good. You
Both
can't-
mediums.
You
we're
can't flash
talking
that.
about.
In our own minds.
Okay, Township Managers Report, and I believe you have a lot of updates, especially from the last meeting. There was some action taken, especially with some parking issues.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council and township residents. Our recent pedestrian safety kickoff event was a huge success. We are now scheduling a community engagement meeting at the Rhoda Center in the coming weeks. We hope you can join us with our Traffic Bureau, Easy Ride, and NJTPA. Our police department has also recently installed orange pedestrian crossing flags at 402 Cedar Lane and 503 Cedar Lane to increase visibility and alert drivers of pedestrians crossing the roadway. The BLM mural is scheduled to be repainted on June 1st in the overflow parking lot of the Rhoda Center. So it will be closed for our composters. We will also send a nixle as a reminder. The Sagamore Park Detention Tank Community Meeting is scheduled for May 12th from 7 to 9 p.m. in council chambers. Zoom option will be available for viewing only. Barron Terrace has a water main installation that is underway for the next 2 to 3 weeks, so you will see Veolia in this area. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. This month, the Township of Teaneck supports raising public awareness about mental illness, reducing stigma, and promoting mental well-being. The Garden Club of Teaneck plant sale is scheduled for May 9th through 11th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Teaneck Greenhouse, 300 Lindbergh Boulevard. Reminder, we have a bin set up at Township Hall until May 15th for the Never Alone Resource Center. Please bring non-perishables only. They are also looking for volunteers for a spring cleanup project, so if you're interested, please sign up. Our Memorial Day ceremony is scheduled for May 26th at 11 a.m. on the Municipal Green, and all are welcome to attend. The Motor Vehicle Commission mobile unit will be on site at Township Hall on August 18th. Online appointments will be available 30 days prior on our website. Registration for the Teaneck Community Pool continues at the Rhoda Center. We now have over 500 Teaneck residents registered for the season. Some recent upgrades include repainting all 3 pools, landscaping, concrete slabs have been leveled, sod installation, renovations to our pool house, parking lot gravel has been added and leveled, installation of new entrance stairs, lifeguard chairs, fencing replacements, and much more. Don't miss our open house ribbon cutting ceremony that is scheduled for May 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. at the new pool location on Pomander Walk. We hope to see you there. The Teaneck Farmers Market will begin this Thursday and will take place on Thursdays through October at the Garrison and Beverly lot. The Rotary Club of Teaneck is hosting their 11th annual Taste of Teaneck event at the Glen Point Marriott on Monday, May 12th from 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. You'll enjoy a sampling of the best restaurants in the area. Please see the flyer on our website on how to register and purchase tickets. Our next shredding event is June 6th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Township Hall parking lot. A zoning subcommittee meeting is scheduled for May 30th at 9 a.m. The ADU community meeting, which I know Deputy Mayor Belcher did mention, is scheduled for June 26th from 7 to 9 p.m. in council chambers for anyone who'd like to attend. This will be an informational meeting to go over the specifics of our ADU ordinance and what that means for our community. Social media will have postings on additional information. The Teaneck Police Department is now accepting applications for the 2025 Junior Police Academy. It starts on Friday, June 27th. Then from Monday, June 30th through Thursday, July 3rd, this exciting program is open to Teaneck residents ages 11 to 13. Applications must be submitted by Friday, May 30th. A friendly reminder that township offices will be observing Juneteenth. So Township Hall offices will be closed with the exception of DPW, police, and fire. And that's Thursday, June 19th. Also, another reminder that in June, our only council meeting will be on June 17th. So please update your calendars. A grant update for you. If you did not see our recent press release, the township was awarded $1.125 million in NJDEP grant funds for major park improvements. $750,000 was for our inclusive playground improvements at Bote Park, aimed at expanding accessibility and inclusivity for children of all abilities. Another 375,000 is for restroom and splash pad improvements at Argonne Park, enhancing facilities to better serve families and park visitors. I would like to acknowledge the exceptional efforts of Township Engineer Farah Galani for working so hard on all of our recent grant applications. She works very hard to make sure all these applications are put in on time and is very responsible about getting us these fundings for improvements. For our project updates, Herrick Park improvements continue. The playground safety installation is now complete. The electrical work for the splash pad and restrooms are underway. Bike lane improvements, the paving is scheduled for August, but prior to the paving project, the drainage improvements and concrete work will be done prior. Argonne Park tennis courts have a pre-con meeting that is scheduled for tomorrow. Phelps Park splash pad is scheduled to go out to bid after finalizing the plans. And the Phelps Park tennis courts are in the final stages of repair. We do have some weather delays, so by mid to late May, they will reopen. The Andreas Park pickleball courts, the surface painting and stripe is scheduled for next week. And we are making progress with our Windsor Road walking bridge repairs. We plan to submit an updated plan to CSX and finalize the agreements to make those necessary repairs. The Belle Ave drainage project, the design work is complete and we have submitted everything to DEP and EPA on time. The Belle Ave garden, rain garden, the geotech testing was done last week and the design will be finalized based on those results. The 2024 road resurfacing will commence once our bond ordinance is adopted. The list of streets will also be posted to our websites under our projects page. Last meeting, Ms. Baker addressed the council regarding some parking signage that was faded and illegal parking that is taking place on Decatur Avenue. We had our traffic bureau report to this area. They inspected it and our DPW has successfully installed new signage. And they will be doing a designated patrol in that area to ensure that enforcement is underway. I would now like to provide a brief update in reference to our 2025 municipal budget that is on our agenda for introduction this evening. As we all know, this has been a challenging budget year to prepare. With many hours and calculations with our CFO, Isa Abbasi, and our auditor, Dan DeGanchi, we have provided the council with the options to which I report the following. Doug, can you bring it up? No problem. It's just my progress. I can start. So adjustments totaling $1,891,579.26 were made from utilizing additional revenues. The tax rate increase has been reduced from 9.97% to 6.98%. The budget maintains with all township services. Hiring freeze remains in place unless replacing vacant positions due to resignations or retirements. Our 2025 municipal tax on an average home valued at $627,549.59 will see an increase of $323.93 from 2024, which is equal to $26.99 per month. Our 2026 budget remains a challenge with current forecasts at another double-digit increase. I would now just like to wish all the Teaneck moms a happy Mother's Day with this upcoming weekend. Mayor, that's all I have for you this evening.
Thank you very much. A very comprehensive report. If possible, if maybe you want to send out that report to the public, if you don't mind. If it's,
Yes.
I think there's so many informative things on there, especially with all the parks. We are constantly getting questions about when's this park happening, when this park's happening. So if we can
And just so you know, Mayor, we do have an actual project update tab now that lists every project that Fast Tech has. So I'll make sure that I actually put a blurb on the front
Perfect.
page so they could just click on that to see all the project updates.
Wait, really
wait.
quickly on the manager's report,
I know he was first.
It's okay, let her go
Oh,
first, and then I have a
sorry.
question. Go ahead.
just on the manager's report for Sagamore Park, I got some requests and so did PPRAB about making sure that we have enough benches at the parks for the parents with the young kids. So if we can have like 3 or 4 benches around, if we can just make sure that while we're doing that, we include those in the plans.
Okay, I'll let Farah know.
Thank you.
Just a quick question, Mr. Mayor, for either Jacqueline or Issa, probably Issa. What is the total budget for this year added up with capital and, operating? Because I think last year was 85, right? And if you need time to come back, it's okay. I was just curious.
Should we wait on that, Lisa?
Yeah, take your time. Take
All
your
right.
time. No
While we
rush.
do that, Mr. Attorney, do you have anything to report in public or whatever you gave in closed session?
Whatever I gave in closed
Thank-
session.
thank you
I
very
have
much.
Nothing further to
Okay.
report.
Excellent. Okay. We have no, give me a second. We have no ordinances. We have, we'll go right into good and welfare after we get the answer. We'll do good and welfare after we get the answer from you, Mr. CFO. And then from there, we'll introduce the budgets after.
So
that.
we have an answer. So
Okay.
generally speaking, you do not lump the two together because they are separate. So the total budget for this year is $86,579,319.85. Your capital is separate because you don't
Mhm.
tax everyone for the full amount. You tax the 5% down payment, which this year comes to, I believe, 537,000 off the top of my head. Last year, the budget was 84,917,826 and 61 cents. So that's what the 2 years are combined.
And what's capital this year total?
I believe it's 523 or 537. I could pull it up. Capital this year is, I believe, 12 million, in the low 12 millions. It was higher, but it was reduced thanks to Councilman Goldberg finding us Phelps Park for 400,000 that we were able to
And
reduce.
last year capital was around 8 million, right?
8.8, I believe, roughly off the top of my head.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that, we'll turn over to good and welfare. Please raise your hands. We'll take everyone in the audience first, and from there we'll go on to Zoom. When I call you up, please come up, state your name, 3 minutes. Ms. Silverberg, you know the drill. This is anything you like as it relates to council. I believe the words are council, relates to council. It's not the Mets score, not the Yankees score, not about the library. It's not about the library. Go.
What was that one? Good evening, I'm Sandy Silverberg, Teaneck resident. I just want to, first of all, start off with a commercial. If you haven't seen the PBS, well, you still can see PBS. If you haven't seen the PBS special on libraries, you still have one more chance. It was aired this week on PBS, but you still have one more chance. If you go to the Teaneck International Film Festival's website, the TIFF.org in Teaneck, there's a link to a recorded presentation of this tremendous documentary. But the great part is it's followed by a Q&A that features our own library director, a wonderful assembly person from New Jersey who was very instrumental in making sure that libraries in the state of New Jersey are protected. It's a terrific documentary. Those of us who've seen it, and I know you're out there because I know some of the people in the audience, I hope you'll take the opportunity to do that. That's mostly for the folks out there. If you haven't seen it, please do try that. I also wanted to comment about the budget. This is a fraught year, and I attended some of the budget hearings on specific areas. One of them was the something with an L, life something, had to do with books. And I know the tremendous job that the town manager has undertaken here in this terribly short fiscal space. I only hope that the town will pass the budget sooner rather than later. Because, for example, at the library renovation, we can't order materials until the budget is officially adopted. And of course, with all of the things that are going on internationally, the money that we have to spend we don't know if that money would even be sufficient going forward because tariffs may raise the price of some of the things that would have been ordered. So I hope that when we fight over the budget, and I, for one, think that it was fabulously prepared. It's a hard pill to swallow for some folks. But listen, despite everything I tried, literally and figuratively, the chickens have come home to roost in Teaneck, and we have to be realistic about raising capital. So I hope we can do that because it will be more expensive in the short run not to do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Silverberg. Anybody else in the public like to speak? Young lady?
Got a short one of these? I am Lynn Kloss. I'm on the Friends of the Library, and I've been a Teaneck resident for 50 years. And as an active member of the library and the Friends of the Library, I'd like to urge you to pass the pass the allocation so that we can move forward on opening the library even earlier than proposed. So that's it for me.
Thank you very much. Almert?
Amrit Ramjatan, Teaneck resident. So I'd like to speak about green building and sustainable construction, and I'd like to ask this council to adopt a code for our township. I know we've been talking about build, and I don't have any problems with that. But if we are, here's a fun slogan for you. Build better, build smarter, build greener. Now, in the township, we don't actually have a code or standard that we formalize or follow. We just say, build green. It's part of our, I'm blanking on this, but it would be nice to adopt a code that follows some kind of standard or criteria, something like the NGBS, the National Green Building Standard. That's an ANSI-approved green building standard, or LEED, Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, standards overseen by the U.S. Green Building Council. Now, why adopt a code? It covers items like lot design and development, resource efficiency, water efficiency, energy efficiency, indoor environmental quality, and operations and maintenance. It's just a better way to do business and enforces cleaner construction to help the community and environment keep healthy. It's always easier to design and build and also enforce if you have requirements to meet. You won't have any arguments from developers since they won't be mind reading, which as an engineer, I can assure you, is a nightmare. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to let developers know how we as a township want our buildings. There's an old saying, those who plant trees, knowing that only others will enjoy the shade, are public benefactors. This doesn't need to be about trees, but it can also be about buildings and how we go about our township business in the future. So remember, build better, build smarter, build green. Thank you.
Thank you, Almert. Anybody else in the audience? Mr. Berman and then Dr. Young. After Mr. Berman.
Elliot Berman, resident of Teaneck for almost 30 years. My primary purpose for speaking tonight is to thank the council for passing the ordinance regarding time, place, and manner restrictions concerning special events such as demonstrations. I'm especially happy that it passed 7-0 on the first reading 4 weeks ago. While I would have liked to see it pass 7-0 2 weeks ago, at least it passed 5-2, and for that, I am thankful. One further note on the new ordinance, and this is perhaps directed more to the township manager and the town's council, and maybe the constitutional lawyer retained by the township. I could foresee an argument down the road regarding section 31B9H relating to when the place restriction of 100 feet from the property line of a religious establishment is in effect. Let's say, for example, the KKK wants to demonstrate outside a church because the KKK contends something that is not a religious program or activity is taking place at the church during that time. In that case, I believe one first looks to the information provided the township manager in the application to conduct a demonstration pursuant to section 31B2, which includes under subsection G, the quote hours the demonstration will quote commence and terminate. At that point, I believe it is incumbent on the township manager to inquire from the church whether the church will be having what the church contends is a religious program or activity around that time. Under the church autonomy doctrine, it is not for the demonstrators, or indeed anyone other than the church, to determine what is considered a religious program or activity, but for the church itself to decide that issue. Thus, for example, if if the application is for a demonstration in front of a church from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on a Sunday, since a demonstration within 100 feet of the property line of the church is prohibited from 1 hour before any religious program or activity commences until 1 hour after it concludes, the question that should be posed to the church is whether between the hours of 2 and 3 p.m. on that Sunday, it is having, in its opinion, any religious program or activity. Church autonomy protects the right of religious institutions to decide for themselves, free from state interference, matters of faith and doctrine. Thank you.
Dr. York?
Good evening, Phil Yacht, Teaneck resident. I first want to thank Hildy, I think she left, but the Environmental Commission for their work because it's wonderful. I did not volunteer because I volunteer every day when I walk my dog, and I think Deputy Mayor Organ saw me carrying a whole bunch of junk that I picked up by Sagamore Park last week while I was walking my little dog. I pick up litter almost every single day at Sagamore Park and Bookstaver Park. Those parks, people play basketball there and throw their water bottles on the grass when there's a garbage can right nearby. And then the DPW comes, and I think they do a great job. I love the DPW. They were there cleaning our storm drains just the other day. But they often mow the grass and mow right over the plastic. And then the plastic is like strewn and broken glass. I pick up pieces of broken glass. And I think, maybe the DPW can do a better job of going through those parks before they mow the grass to clean up all that stuff. But I do as much of it as I can. The other thing I wanted to talk about is Cedar Lane. Cedar Lane doesn't look very good. And, the sidewalks don't look great. I mean, they look nice when they were first put in, but it's been many years and that needs to be dealt with. But more important than that, there are somewhere between 7 and 8 lampposts on Cedar Lane, Windsor Road, and in the Garrison Avenue parking lot. I have spoken to our former manager. I've spoken to the current manager about it. She knows about it. It's been several years since those have come down, and it's a safety hazard. The parking lot on Garrison and Beverly has 2 lampposts missing and a lamppost on Beverly Road missing. On Windsor Road, walking down from Cedar Lane, there's a lamppost missing. And along Cedar Lane between Windsor and Garrison, there are lampposts missing, several of them. That's a safety hazard. I think it should be looked at and corrected. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yacht. Anybody else? Councilman Stone? Sure, you'll be next. Nick.
Former Councilman Stone, current Teaneck resident. The budget increase of 7% this year, which was achieved by mostly kicking the can down to the next couple of years, is merely the tip of the iceberg. As reported by the Chief Financial Officer, the projections for the next 2 years were 14% and 16%. A compounded rate increase over those 3 years of nearly 40% over the 2024 base. For the average homeowner, as the township manager reported this evening, that's $323 in an increase this year. It could be $600 or more next year. It could be $700 or $800 the following year. That compounded increase hits taxpayers very, very difficultly. And again, it is a huge increase. It is a gigantic pill to swallow. As a microcosm, we can look at the swim club. We really don't have data on the basics of what the revenue, the expenses, and capital expenditures will be, not just this year, but over the next couple of years. It looks like, based on the data available from the swim club in past years, based on the data that's on the website, and based on additional information, that there will be a much, much larger loss than the swim club had incurred in previous years, and that there was also a delay in capital expenditures, which will have to be done at the swim club. That's going to be on top of everything else. Again, the tiny part of that is in the budget. The $11.5 million to be borrowed, as the CFO reported, is not merely one of the largest ever, but far larger than the $3.5 million of debt that's being paid off in this budget. As anyone who has a credit card knows, if you are adding more in debt than what you're paying off, your debt is going to be increasing and those costs are going to be increasing. Total debt service is the highest ever in township history. There's $22 million in old debt that has been rolled over on a regular basis and for which we're paying short-term rates. The next 5 years of the manager's capital budget has nearly $90 million in expenditures. There's $15 million for parks. And this current budget, it looks like, will use virtually every penny that's available in open space trust funds. I try to generate grant funds, but again, there's only so much that can be generated. And the question is not what should be removed. The question is, how will we pay for that? Taxpayers are already being hit hard and will be hit hard. And the question of what we have in this budget and what the priorities are, as Mayor for Life Pagan has said, budgets are about priorities. And what are our priorities? We need to go through this budget and we need to ask ourselves, how can we hit our taxpayers this hard? How can we justify, how can we pay for these things? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Son. And Bert, who next?
Hello, everyone. My name is Raymond Moore. I'm a resident of Teaneck. Okay, 2 minutes. Resident of Teaneck. 3 minutes. All right. Resident of Teaneck. And my dad used to come here a lot. So shout out to him. He fortunately graduated from the earth a long time ago. And thank you for the public. Thank you for your guys' service. The reason why I'm here today and I'm making this announcement is that I think Ms. Goldberg or Ms. Hasmet emailed me. It was about 7:00 a.m. in the morning last week or two, and there was a loud noise outside. And when I looked outside, they were cutting down the trees for the power lines, which is a very positive thing to do. But it was just like literally extra early at like really early in the morning. And for people who were off that day in the morning, it was like a big alarm clock. So I know that's very important to make sure the trees don't interfere with the power lines. But if something can be done to not have that happen again, we most appreciate it. Like maybe like later on in the day, maybe 8 or something like that. So I'm not sure if that was ever talked about or discussed, but that'll help in the future for residents of Teaneck to not have an alarm that early in the morning with the power lines being cut or the trees being cut. Thank you. That's my time.
Thank you very much. We'll address it afterwards. And yes, we did discuss it.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Sure.
My name is Hartwell Cornelius. I live at 29 Westerville Place in Teaneck. I've been in Teaneck for approximately over like 50 years. I used to work for this town one time as a director of youth services back when Warner Schmidt was here. And I like to also say that I also know some of your council people, your parents and everything too as well. But I have to say that I'm having a problem right now with your building department. I built the home, I had it torn down on 29 Westerville Place, and I had it rebuilt. It started in 2003. And I've had some bad contractors. I know that they just was not doing their job, so I had to fire them. But then after that, when everything was running smoothly, just recently, as of January 2005, I've been trying to get a permanent a CO. I was given a temporary CO, understanding that there had to be a what they call a Cotex put in the backyard. So we did that. $8,000 was paid for that. Just recently, I was told about a week and a half ago, maybe a week and a half, they said, if you get your architect to give us a survey, which is this right here, we will give you your CO. Well, I called them last week and this week, no one wants to answer the phone and give me anything. Okay, this is ridiculous. Okay. And it's legit. I mean, I have it upside down, excuse me. But it has been done. And all it has to do is look at it and see that it's been properly filled out. And I believe that I should receive my CO. But what they've done, because you get a temporary CO, you got to pay pay $30 each month that you do not have you don't have a CO. I've learned that that's not true for other people. I have someone on another street in Teaneck who I spoke with, and he says they're bothering him for $30 a month. That's kind of ridiculous. Why I'm being targeted for this kind of money? I don't understand. That's all.
Well, thank you very much. We'll address that. The manager will address that shortly.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
Anybody else in the public would like to speak? Okay, Mr. Clerk, we'll head to you on Zoom. DJ that.
Benji Burnett.
Benji Burnett, Teaneck.
3 minutes, sir. We hear you.
Hi, Benji Burnett, Teaneck. As Sandy and Lynn said, it would be very helpful to the library the faster the capital budget is passed. We need some of that capital to buy some furniture, which will be used for the library to reopen. And hopefully it'll be a very nice library once it reopens, and we're all looking forward to it, hopefully sooner. Thank you.
Thank you, Benji. We now have Layla Graham.
Hi, Layla Graham, Teaneck resident. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, miss. You have 3 minutes.
Okay. I would like to read out a letter that was sent to Teaneck Council on April 22nd of 2025 by the Coalition for Civil Freedoms based in Washington, D.C. regarding the special events ordinance that was just passed a couple of weeks ago. And it reads, Dear Council members, I am the legal director of the Coalition of Civil Freedoms, and I understand that the Council is considering an ordinance which has several problematic and unconstitutional sections which would inhibit and chill First Amendment protected activity. First, the requirement that a group of any size obtain a permit before engaging in, for example, a protest on a public sidewalk or other non-roadway public property is clearly unconstitutional in violation of the First Amendment. Permits or advance notice requirements are only upheld when they apply to large groups and not to small groups. Borley versus United States DOI 615 F3D 508 520 DC circa 2010. American Arab Anti-Discrimination Commission versus City of Dearborn F3D 600 608 6th Circuit 2005, and Grossman versus City of Portland 33 F3D 1200 1206 9th Circuit 1994, and Burke versus Augusta Richmond County, as well as People versus Barrett in New York 2006. This is because when there are large group gatherings, the municipality often expends resources doing crowd control, dealing with interference with vehicular and or pedestrian traffic, and generally protecting the public welfare. Grossman versus City of Portland emphasizes in original some type of permit requirement may be justified in the case of large groups where the burden placed on park facilities and possibility of interference with other park users is more substantial. Borley versus United States states the potential need to arrange for additional parking, traffic control, sanitary facilities, water fountains, and or first aid stations will arise much more frequently when a large group plans to hold an event. American Arab Anti-Discrimination Commission versus City of Dearborn states the City of Dearborn's significant interest in crowd and traffic control, property maintenance, and the protection of the public welfare is not advanced by the application of the ordinance to small groups. This goes on. I just wanted to say this on the record so that people of Teaneck know that civil rights groups have reached out to council to try and stop this unconstitutional ordinance.
Thank you, Ms. Graham. Your 3 minutes were up. We are bringing in Rebecca Feinberg. You are.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Rebecca Feinberg. I am a resident at Bell Avenue and Beverly, where the flooding has occurred. As you can imagine, over the last few days, we've had some very wet basements and spent a lot of time plumbing and sopping up our basements and trying to deal with the water that's coming in. So I just wanted to express my appreciation for the fact that next Monday you will be having a conversation with us about the Sagamore detention tanks. And I wanted to confirm that this project was moving forward and that we will get details of when we would break ground and when this project would be complete at the Monday night meeting.
We have Keith Kaplan.
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, 3 minutes.
Hi, Keith Kaplan, Teaneck resident. I've had a lot of experience chatting with, our various departments and helping them with various things when I was on council. But today I had a lot of meetings with several of them. One of our smoke detectors failed and went off. TFD was at our house within seconds. I want to thank them for, excellent work. We had a kid who was scared of the noise. They worked, to find the problem, help fix it, and show the kids their little cameras that see through walls to keep them busy while the alarms were going off. Excellent. Just absolutely fantastic. And to the comment the other gentleman was making about the survey, I had a chance to use the SDL system that we brought. For those that remember, it's an electronic online system that lets you work with the building department. I scheduled, picked, 3 available days for a electrical inspection. They called me a couple hours later, told me which one was available, and scheduled to come, within a couple days. It's working great. There are a couple little tweaks here and there that, now that I actually use the system, I think we could benefit by making a few more categories available, but, things around the edges. I think if residents knew that they didn't have to come down to the building department in order to submit things like a survey, and they could do that online, it would save the resident a lot of calls. It would save the person answering the phone a lot of, tag back and forth. And most importantly, it saves the clerk answering the calls from finding the subcode official who they need to go through, and puts everybody in touch with each other. So from a customer service standpoint, it saves everybody a whole lot of time if we can get more systems like this working. I know that, there's sometimes a little pushback to getting new systems in place, but if there's anybody that wants to take up the mantle and get more of these things running, I think it would do a lot of good. The workers are doing a great job from, the services I got to use this week, and just wanted to say thanks and keep it up.
Mr. Clerk, do you see anybody else? Okay, that being said, good welfare is now closed. Mr. Manager, before we get to council, did you want to address you'll take the sorry, yes.
Did I want to address what? I'm sorry.
You addressed the gentleman with Westervelt.
Oh, yes. I just wanted to get your address. I'll check in with the construction official and see if I can help you with that. The CO, if you could just give me the number on Westervelt.
29 Westervelt.
29? Oh, okay. So it's 29. So, okay. So before you leave, if you could just leave me your number, I'll touch base with them tomorrow and get that figured out for you. Okay. Yes.
We're going to handle that right
Oh,
now.
okay. Oh. Wonderful.
Okay, and I knew you took some action after Councilwoman Goldberg brought the attention with the early alarm clock matter with the utility company or the trees. You remind us what action we took on that?
Yes, we reached out to our PSE&G, our rep. That was actually a tree trimming project that they were doing. It was not a township job. So we reached out to our PSE&G rep. We explained the situation, the early tree trimming, and they're going to start within the noise ordinance confines. So it does permit them to start by 8 a.m. We're now looking at our noise ordinance and making amendments and doing certain things, but they did start a little bit earlier and we brought it to their attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Goldberg?
Thanks. So, Mr. Moore, so I just want to thank you for coming tonight and saying again what residents experience, but don't always put it into words. Getting blasted at 7:30 in the morning by equipment or a gas-powered leaf blower or a bullhorn shouting hate speech isn't just frustrating, it's discourteous. And in my view, it's a violation of your peace and your rights. So that's exactly why I spent weeks researching, drafting, revising a stronger ordinance. And in fact, I was up till 3 a.m. this morning, finalizing the latest version. One that speaks directly to your rights to peace and quiet in your hometown and complies with NJDEP model ordinance on noise. But let's call it what it is. It's not a noise ordinance, it's a nuisance ordinance, just like Hackensack, Englewood, Fort Lee, Carlstadt, Rutherford. It would have been prohibited to have that nuisance you experience before 8 a.m. on a weekday and 9 a.m. on a weekends. And it recognizes the truth that noise at the wrong time is a residential neighborhood harm. It's responsible. I want to thank Deputy Mayor Katz and Mayor Pagan for standing with me on that. Mr. Moore, your concern is real and I'm not letting it go. So I really hope that the rest of council hears you, because I do, and I'm going to try to bring this ordinance back. Reet, thank you for raising the green building. So the new master plan that was adopted sets sustainability goals, including promoting energy efficient design, green materials, and smarter land use. And the plan does state that while LEED certification isn't necessary anymore, since a lot of them are part of the building code, we should be incorporating sustainable practices into both new and development retrofit. So whether it's energy efficiency, green roofs, recycling, et cetera. But you're right. So the master plan is a social contract. So we do need to update our development and zoning codes now that it's passed. So I do support moving in that direction and exploring what the language would look like to codify that piece of the master plan with the sustainability goals that it mentions and you mentioned. And that's that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Mayor Pagan.
Just one quick thing, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Hartwell Cornelius, it is so good to see you. I hope you don't mind. I gave your cell number to the manager because I know that you've been having some issues for quite some time with this property, and hopefully the manager in the building department can help you address all those and streamline it. Good to see you.
Good. Mayor Katz?
No.
Good. Deputy Mayor Ward? Oh, sorry, Deputy Mayor Belcher, I apologize.
No, I'm good, Mayor.
Thank you.
Just one thing that might have gotten overlooked in the manager's very long report of all the things that she's doing and all of the events that we're having in the next 2 weeks. She did mention that CSX finally got back to us and they are allowing us to proceed with work on the bridge going between Windsor Road and Voti Park. So for everybody that's been asking for the last couple of years, they are allowing us to finally do the repairs to open up that bridge, which is in the capital budget tonight that's up for introduction. So again, for everybody that has been asking for the last couple of years, the holdup was that CSX was not allowing us onto the tracks. We could not get permission to start to do the work to first open up the bridge, and that's not redoing the whole bridge. That's millions of dollars away and making it ADA compliant with either a full ramp to get on there or an elevator, and that's a long way off. But to do the repairs to open the bridge, we are able to do that once we approve the funding for that. So stay tuned.
Thank you very much. A few comments. As it relates to lampposts, we are aware of the lamppost matter, and I believe those are being addressed on order, and we're hoping for installation soon. Definitely schlepped out longer than it should. Ms. Feinberg, over the last few minutes, we've queued some of your neighbors. We are not aware of any flooding that occurred, and no neighbors who reported it either in the past or in the last hour. In general, if there's any flooding or any concerns, you can reach out to us, email us. You can call me 917-9029-303. Again, we're hoping to move this matter forward, but just wanted to say that I'm sorry, but we didn't hear about any flooding. As it relates to green building, we spoke about this. Excellent ideas. Our buildings aren't big enough to make that possible without bonuses, grants, and incentives to our developers. So what I'll do is we have a subzoning committee on May 30th. I'll query them and see what their thoughts are on this. But to put unfunded mandates on developers will have to cost somebody somewhere. We're already doing 15% affordable, and this council has pushed back and increased the affordability as part of the negotiation. So if we're going to request something that costs additional money, it's got to come from somewhere. So I'll speak with them and see what thoughts and ideas they had. As it relates to our budget, I will address the matters that were discussed under the budget when we have our budget conversations. And with that, I'll turn it over to the introduction of the
Wait, does
2025.
Deputy Mayor Belcher want to speak?
We spoke. We spoke.
Oh, okay.
She was fine. With that, I'll turn over to the introduction of the 2025 cost of living allowance ordinance. Mr. Clerk, can you run that show?
Yes, sir. We have this one particular ordinance earlier in the agenda because the auditor told us it had to be done that way. Ordinance number 21-2025, an annual authorization to exceed the municipal budget cost of living allowance, otherwise known as COLA, and to establish a cap bank for year 2025.
You're looking for a motion and then.
To
okay.
introduce,
I'll
yep.
make that motion to introduce the annual cap bank ordinance.
Second.
The clerk will call that, please.
Councilwoman Goldberg,
Yes.
Councilman Pagan, apologies.
No.
Councilwoman G. Sorry, Councilman Katz,
No.
Deputy Mayor Belcher,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Organ,
Yes.
Mayor Schwartz.
Yes.
Approved. We'll
Thank
see it
you.
again on May 20th.
Okay, and Mr. Clerk, introduction of the 2025 municipal budget. I'll actually turn it over to the manager or what would be the, how do we roll this out? Is it straight up ordinance introduction?
We will be seeing this again on June 17th, should it be introduced this evening. Unless council has any discussion, I think you are ready to introduce.
And I'm sorry, we're seeing this
June 17th.
not in 2 weeks?
The state budget law, NJSA 48:4, states that you need 28 days to curate between the budget introduction and adoption to allow sufficient time for advertising, any input from the public. That will happen at the hearing. So that's why June 17th is our next available crack for adoption.
Okay. So we're looking for introduction and then I guess comments at the next meetings and whatnot. Is that what we're looking for?
Yes, correct.
Okay,
You have a public hearing before adoption.
excellent. Thank you.
Just a comment about the end of May meeting. Do we still need that meeting if we're not going to be having this budget?
Yes,
Okay.
unfortunately. I mean, well, actually, they're
So I will say this.
the cap bank ordinance,
So if you were to
the bond
choose-
ordinance.
If you were to choose to cancel the May 20th meeting, the bond ordinance adoption, the cap bank ordinance adoption would be held on June 17th. So that's a policy decision, but then it would affect when funds would be available for the bond ordinance for the department's projects. Because then you have to advertise the bond ordinance adoption, then you need 20 days after that adoption, the estoppel period. So you're talking now into July that funds would be available
Understood.
to purchase police cars, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, I think with,
I'm sorry, are we able to adopt the cap bank ordinance without the budget being adopted?
Yes.
And what about the bond ordinance?
Yes.
Okay, that's important.
so you're saying you want that meeting to, with the, but that's
Well,
needed
this
for
would
the
free
bond.
up funds for the township fast.
Understood. Okay, I think the deputy, I think Deputy Mayor Katz was concerned about that every 2 weeks we're having meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, but the agendas are small, but in this case, we cannot spread it out. We are hitting the second half of the series where our meetings get more spread
Yeah.
out, so.
This is a very interesting, an interesting situation too, though, because we had to pull that June 10th council meeting to accommodate the primary
Oh.
election too, right? So this is, we got backed into a corner a little bit here with this.
Okay, so with that, I'll make a motion for the introduction of a 2025 municipal budget, 149 of 2025. As presented by the manager.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes, sir. This is to introduce the budget. Again, we will see this resolution to adopt the budget on June 17th. Councilwoman Goldberg,
No.
Councilman Pagan,
No.
Councilman Katz,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Belcher,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Organ,
Yes.
Mayor Schwartz.
Yes.
Approved. We'll see it again in June.
Thank you very much. And with this, the next step is the introduction of the 2025 Cedar Lane Special Improvement District. I'll make a motion number 150-2025 to introduce the 2025 Cedar Lane Special Improvement District budget.
Second.
It was seconded by Mayor Pagan.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Goldberg,
Yes.
Councilman Gahn,
Yes.
Councilwoman G, sorry, Councilman Katz,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Belcher,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Organ,
Yes.
Mayor Schwartz.
Yes.
Same thing as the budget. See you in
Okay.
June.
Mr. Clerk, consent agenda.
Yep.
Oh,
Consent agenda and the bills list in the amount of $10,779,733.47.
Mr. Mayor,
yes, sir.
can I pull 151, please?
151 being pulled. Anybody else? Okay. That being said, I'll make a motion to approve the raffles, the minutes, the resolutions, all in the bill list, all with the exception of 151 of 2025. And the bill list in the amount of
$10,779,733.47.
a second.
Second.
Second by Member Brown. Roll call, please. Oh, no, sorry. Yes, roll call.
MP. Councilwoman Goldberg minus resolution 151.
Yes to all with an abstention on the bills list.
Councilman Pagan,
Yes.
Councilman Katz.
Yes to all with an abstention on the bills list and abstention on 148, 2025.
Thank you, sir. Deputy Mayor Belcher,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Organ,
Yes.
Mayor Schwartz.
Yes.
Adopted.
Mayor Bernard, 151, please.
I was just hoping if someone could please remind me what we are rescinding.
I have that. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, sorry, Doug. I
This
didn't see it
was-
in the packet.
It's all good. It's all good. This came in very last minute. Changes to the layout of the furniture. This is the library renovation, and this was a portion of purchase for some furniture and some other stuff.
Thank
And
you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you,
yeah.
Mr. In that case, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve 151.
Wait, wait. Why are we rescinding it?
because
Doug, do you want me to answer that?
the layout, if you have a funding clarification, but the clarification I was given was that the plan changed because they had to run cabling through the floor, which changed some of the furniture situation in part of the area. They got the work taken care of by a contractor for much less money.
Okay. Do we have a
Was there
second on
something
that?
else you wanted to add, Issa? My fault.
Nope, perfectly done. Thank you.
All right.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Goldberg,
Yes.
Councilman Pagan,
Yes.
Councilman Katz,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Belcher,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Organ,
Yes.
Mayor Schwartz.
Yes.
Rescinded.
Hey, and Mr. Clerk, introduction of ordinances, please.
Yes. Just regular ordinances, nothing special. Oh, sorry. This is the bond ordinance. This is very special. I'm sorry.
Handicap parking.
This is very special, actually. Ordinance number 22-2025. The bond ordinance providing for various 2025 capital improvements by and in the township of Teaneck in the county of Bergen, appropriating for $12,315,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $11,687,100 of bonds or notes for the township to finance part of the cost.
I'll make a motion for introduction, please.
Second.
This one
And
This
does
one will be
require-
seen again in May.
Okay, and this requires 4 in the introduction, but 5 on the pass?
Indeed.
Okay.
4 on intro, 5 on pass.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Goldberg,
No, it's too irresponsible.
Councilman Pagan,
No.
Councilman Katz, Deputy Mayor Belcher,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Organ,
Yes.
Mayor Schwartz,
Yes, to
In-
library.
introduced
And we'll see that again on,
May 20.
that's May 20.
Indeed.
Okay. Is there a motion for adjournment? Motion to adjourn.
Second.